Hello everybody, this is Joey from TheChartGuys. I've been trading full-time for 6 years and studying underneath Dan for those 6 years. And I'm here today to talk about big news in the crypto space. As most people probably know, tuning into the stream at this point, Grayscale won their lawsuit against the SEC when the SEC said that they are not good to go ahead and try to convert the OTC Grayscale ETF to a spot Bitcoin ETF, and they've won that lawsuit. And now we're seeing a big green day on BTC here. And, this doesn't mean that the ETF is approved. There's still more steps to go. The SEC has 45 days to appeal this decision. And the question will be now, is the SEC just going to roll over and let it happen, or are they going to appeal further? And we've just got to wait to see that. And in the meantime, we will just lean on our charts to try to determine, is this the beginning of a new bull market, a new paradigm for Bitcoin, or is it just going to be a weekly lower high and a flash in the pan? The next stages to how this plays out will likely have a big say in how that happens, but we always have to make sure that we're kind of prioritizing the charts. And you want to be aware of the fundamentals, obviously, because they move the charts around. But we can see with things like XRP, let's just take a quick look at that. That was a very favorable court hearing for them, and we can see how that ended up playing out in hindsight. So we can't be blinded. We got to make sure that the charts continue to prove what we want to see as bulls, or, if you're a bear, you want to see that proof there as well. We can never just make a decision, go for it, and hope that we're right and, ignore what's going on in the charts here. So we've got a lot to talk about today with that. As you can see, again, big green day on Bitcoin. But before we really get into Bitcoin, let's take some looks around at some of the other important things in the market right now that are going to be playing a role. And mainly that is the S&P 500 getting its weekly bounce underway. And now the big question is, do we get a weekly bounce big enough to create enough room for a higher low to try to regain the weekly uptrend? And that would have us looking at a monthly cup and handle just below all-time highs. And if that's the case, that's obviously going to help Bitcoin. We know these are pretty decently correlated. So big bull break here on the S&P 500 today. NQ is going to need to see its bull break for the S&P 500 to see further follow through. And if that happens, bulls will be getting beyond that 0.5 retrace, and the odds will decrease that bears can confirm a weekly downtrend and see deeper monthly consolidation, and potentially, looking back at ES here, quarterly lower highs shaping up. So bulls definitely liking the green day today on the heels of the JOLTS data, and the weekly bounce is officially underway here. So that's one element. If we see a weekly lower high set in the broader market, that's going to weigh against Bitcoin. The other thing to consider here is that the dollar, we know we've been on a weekly stair step for a very long time. We know Bitcoin's moves have been generally inverse to the dollar on the weekly time frame. And the question here is, do we have a weekly bout of consolidation looking to shape up here on the dollar? If we do, Bitcoin is now positioned well for that. We've already got our weekly bounce underway here on Bitcoin. And just a day ago, that was not the case. We knew that the broad market was positioned well for the dollar to top out, and we knew metals were positioned well for the dollar to top out because they had all gotten nice moves off of the low while BTC was just tightening on up. And just one day of action, we have BTC back in action with everybody else. So what we'll be looking for on the dollar is, can the daily 12 EMA be lost? Can the daily uptrend be lost? Can our weekly stair step break here? And if we look, the low of last week is still a decent bit away at 103.01. So bears on the dollar have a lot of work to do. And ultimately, we're going to need to see a daily downtrend confirm here to have confidence that the dollar is coming down. As for where we are here right now on the dollar, we're testing daily 12 EMA. We're in hourly oversold conditions. So it really wouldn't be surprising to see a bounce from here. And what dollar bears and Bitcoin bulls, broad market bulls, all want to see from here is an hourly downtrend confirmed on the dollar, take out that daily 12 EMA, begin to create enough room for a daily lower high on the next bounce, and that will help equities, metals, and crypto. So we can have our bull column and our bear column for points for each side, and that's kind of how you want to approach trading in general, because during most times people can make money both ways, and there's a decent argument for both sides of a trade, and it's really time frame dependent as well. So I like to keep a tally for who's getting the points and who's not. And on Bitcoin, if bulls don't continue to get the points, then we've got to be cautious of a weekly lower high. If we look at where we are now, we're still 14% from our resistance up here. And, another 5% day would still have us nowhere near our resistance, and we could still be in weekly lower high territory. Some people might want to count this as a little weekly lower high. It certainly was a dinker before we fell out of this weekly rising wedge. But I'm probably going to be pulling retraces just from the top. And we can say that Bitcoin bulls need another good leg up through 28,400 if they want to create enough room to stay within a weekly equilibrium. Because if we roll over before that, then we've got to be cautious of this weekly head and shoulders, which if that were to confirm, that would be a quarterly lower high shaping up here on Bitcoin. We'll zoom in a little bit here. So we'll just take it one step at a time. And at this point, we don't even have hourly consolidation underway. The ruling came out this morning. Let's see the exact time on that. So ruling came out at 10:20, and it has been all bulls since then. So when we're evaluating, is this a strong bull move that can have legs and keep on moving? We've got tools to do that, mainly retracement size and consolidation. Any pullbacks from here, bulls want to see retracement size healthy. They want to be able to hold EMAs, and we just do the zoom out game as we go. So for me, the most important time frame for this daily move up is going to be the 4-hour. So at this point, 4-hour EMAs are very far away. So bulls probably want to go sideways up here a little bit or something, let these EMAs come on up, and then hold those EMAs on the next round of consolidation. Keep above a 50% retrace of this move, and that will keep the door open for another leg up to the upside. So the zoom out game and EMAs, and just an example of that. So we were riding, we can probably even go smaller time frame, riding the 2-minute 12 EMA for a little while, lose that, zoom out to the 5-minute, hold the 5-minute 12 EMA, ride that for a little while, lose that, zoom out to the 15-minute, and now we're looking for a 15-minute higher low. And as long as bulls hold the 15-minute 12 EMA, then the 4-hour time frame will remain healthy. And we get these time frame relationships from the nested time frame PDF that's on the TheChartGuys Twitter, where you've got your 5-minute linking with your hourly, your 15 with your 4-hour, your 4-hour with your daily with your weekly, and your weekly with your monthly. And then at the beginning there, your 5-minute with your hourly. So if your smaller time frame is healthy, then on its pullback, then your larger time frame is staying healthy on its continued move. And then you just zoom on out. So those are some ways to evaluate health. The other way is going to be, how do bulls respond to oversold conditions? So right now we are pulling back on the 5-minute, and if we hit 5-minute oversold and bulls just snap up the dip, set a healthy hourly higher low, then we're looking at an hourly bull flag, and we can say that this move is remaining very, very strong. So once 5-minute oversold gets burned through, then we'll zoom out, we'll watch 15-minute oversold, and then we'll watch hourly oversold. So similar to back here when Bitcoin got its first breakout off of the weekly uptrend, that was the approach. Watch back burners, see how long they can continue to hit, and once they stop hitting, then we know we've got a bit of a character change. And the key hit on that one was hourly oversold, and that will be the same key here as well, because we know if the weekly move is going to continue, we'll have ebbs and flows on the daily. It's likely not going to go straight up. We know that that is a possibility, and if we are going to go straight up, then we're going to hold our smaller time frame RSI, or our smaller time frame trends, meaning like the 4-hour, the hourly. So you never need to like pull out your crystal ball and make assumptions or predictions of what is going to happen. We can just use the info that the charts give us every single day. So if the weekly move is going to continue and get up over that 28.4 level to create enough room for a weekly higher low from here, then we are going to probably see some daily consolidation, and we're going to want that daily consolidation to remain healthy. And if that daily consolidation is going to remain healthy, hourly oversold is what's going to mark that daily higher low. If we were to see a deep pullback from here, say we top out here and then we're back down below our daily breakout level by the end of the day, then that's when we've got to start talking like, okay, is this now a daily trend change with no follow through, quick weekly lower high shaping up, weekly head and shoulders gaining favor? So that's why this next round of consolidation will be very important. For now, bulls certainly holding on well here, and we know that it is the Bitcoin show, which certainly is not a shock given the news. But if we look at BTCD, our dominance chart, we can see that's all Bitcoin seeing the bulk of the move. So we still have alts going up with it, but they're not going up as strong as Bitcoin. And if you go look at the alt ratio charts, you can see it's just a sea of red here, showing the underperformance on the alts compared to Bitcoin. So what else we got to look at? GBTC, obviously seeing a massive move up, 17% on the day, and now nearing these recent highs of 21.88. So bit of a lack of resistance beyond that. Let's see, what was this level? We had 21.10, which broke by a skosh without follow through back here in July. And now we have bulls going up to approach it again. So certainly would have to be cautious of a rising wedge if we were to break that without follow through, because then you could kind of paint something like that and something like that. But we'll just cross that road when we get there if bulls get the bull break. So along with Bitcoin and GBTC, we have our crypto miners absolutely ripping. We know that it was a punishing pullback off the top. Bulls were hoping that this daily stair step was the bottom. Daily bear flag confirmed, ended up having no follow through, and now up nearly 30% on Mara. And the same thing remains with Mara and Riot as Bitcoin, where are we going to get weekly lower highs, or are bulls, is this a new bull paradigm and a new space for crypto as we get more adoption? And we'll have to trust our smaller time frame trends. And one thing we do know as well, if we are going to just go to higher highs, then we're likely going to have increasing bull volume. So we'll have to watch that. Right now it is Tuesday and we're nearing last week's volume. So we do have increasing volume here on Mara. Similar deal on Riot. A bit weaker. We can see if we look at Mara Riot ratio chart, we can see that that shows us that Mara is seeing the bulk of the move up here. And you can obviously see that with the percentage moves on the day. Mara up almost double the percentage of Riot at this point. So we'll have to watch volume. And if we go back and look at Bitcoin, let's see how our weekly volume's looking here. So not anything too notable at this point. So we'll have to keep eyes on that and see. Obviously, we've got good bull volume on the day, but is that going to stick around? We will have to find out. And if we are going to do something like this, what we did back here in June, you'll notice if you go back and look here, we never lost our smaller time frame trends. So you don't have to predict. Again, you can just trust these smaller time frame trends, trust volume, and that will be that. So going in here in the short term, we got bulls trying to shape up a little 15-minute higher low here at 27,791. And if that is to be lost from here, that would be our hourly consolidation getting underway. And the best look for bulls would be to hold hourly 12 EMA. So we'll certainly be looking for hourly higher lows on Mara, Riot, Bitcoin, and we'll have to see. Does it remain healthy? Does it not remain healthy? Does hourly 12 EMA act as support? If it doesn't, then we probably have some 4-hour consolidation, seeing a little bit of follow through there. And that is that. So what do we have for resistance on Bitcoin? Really not a lot here. Next clear resistance is up at 29,665. And let's see if we zoom in a little bit, if we can get some other little levels. Nothing too notable. We can look at this 28,451 as the next level there. And then obviously the high of the move up to this point here at 28,184. So bulls in positions, potentially looking to take off some partial profits and make sure you stay super comfy in the trade. Bulls looking for positions, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be conservative? More aggressive bulls are going to take a shot at 5-minute oversold. More conservative bulls are going to wait till 15-minute or hourly oversold conditions, looking for either a 4-hour or daily higher low. And you can do both. You can allot some risk to try to get an anti-FOMO bull position on at 5-minute oversold. I would personally be cautious of just scaling into it. I'd like to see a level established to play off of. That way you can say, if you're wrong, you stop out and it's not a big deal, half-day loser, something like that, versus risking scaling into something that ends up being like a pump and dump. So always nice to have some levels to play off of if you aren't in like a very steady trending like bull market. Honestly, in a bull market, it's a lot easier to be like, okay, I'm going to scale into this hourly higher low, because your odds of that hourly higher low forming in healthy fashion are a lot higher because you have all those checks in the bull column. But in a more tedious market environment, it's good to have levels to play off of with that. So as far as where this leaves the alts, we've got many alts getting weekly bounces underway. We know pretty much everybody had daily tightening ranges of sorts. There is some variation within there, but alts that are getting their weekly bounce underway are obviously stronger. Alts that are still within their daily range are weaker. And we'll have to see, do we see rotation start to go around? Once Bitcoin tops out, do we see those alts that are still in daily tightening ranges pop off and go get their weekly bounces underway as well? That would be the best look for Bitcoin and the crypto space as a whole. You know, it won't be shocking when we see BTCD pull back again, but bulls want that to be the alts joining the party, getting their move up, rather than Bitcoin just giving the whole move back. So we'll have to see what we get there. So to look through some other names here, we've got ETH breaking its daily tightening range to the upside, weekly bounce underway, still lots of room for a weekly lower high, and the same things that were talked about with Bitcoin in terms of watching 5-minute oversold, 15-minute oversold, our hourly 12 EMA, our 4-hour 12 EMA. Those are going to apply to a lot of these names. But as we click through some more alts, we'll see here that many are not doing a whole ton. I mean, they're green, but this is clearly the Bitcoin show and larger scale alts at this point for the majority. So looking at ETH BTC, like the other ratio charts, we've got a solid move down here today, breaking this tightening range to the downside, seeing follow through below our lowest level, and just going to continue to be keeping an eye on this falling wedge on ETH BTC, because if that breaks bull, then that's us staying within a quarterly tightening range here. So looking at LTC, daily tightening range, bull break, weekly bounce underway, lots of room for a weekly lower high. If bulls control for a while here, we'll be watching weekly 12 EMA resistance, and we will see how long bulls can keep these uptrends intact. If we look at XRP, oh, it looks like it did, oh no, it has not yet. So this is an example of an alt that is trying to break out, but certainly a good deal weaker. We've still got our 55.82 resistance overhead, and that would need to break to see weekly bounce follow through. Tons of room for a weekly lower high, watching volume, watching retracement size on smaller time frames, and all that good stuff. We can see XLM, same deal, still within its daily tightening range here, so we actually don't have our weekly bounce underway. And you'll see a good deal of alts that are still in these daily tightening ranges. So aggressive bulls are going to be looking to position in some of these alts and see if they can get some rotation and get some alt pop when BTCD pulls back, because some alts like Matic, that's quite a pop there from the low of today to the high of today, 15.5%. So obviously tons of opportunity on these alts, and now we scout some laggards. But it's important to note that scouting laggards right now is that it is aggressive, which is why I said aggressive bulls are going to be doing this, because it's one day. It's not the ETF being approved. The probability ticker has shifted a good deal with this ruling today, but there's still more work to be done, and we can't just go hog wild into it. But the nice thing with these daily tightening ranges is you have clear levels to be playing off of. So if you wanted to take a crack at XLM and see if we see some alt rotation, you can be playing off of these lows down here at say like 1150, a little bit of wiggle room under that. And, it's a very volatile alt, so that stop is still a good deal away, but that's when you just lower your position size and take a crack at it, or be patient and try for a 4-hour higher low, get a little bit closer to the support that you're playing off of, and see where things go from there. So Sol still not breaking out of its full daily tightening range. We popped the first level by 3 pennies, so insignificant at this point, but bulls really need to get over 22.20 if they want to see continued follow through. And like many other names, we're looking for a potential weekly lower high on that bounce. Going to be watching volume, going to be watching retracement sizes, going to be watching response to back burners and the whole kit and caboodle. And that's pretty much the same for a lot of these guys. So Matic, to talk about one of the alts that did get its pop, we are still looking for a weekly lower high. If that's not going to be the most likely scenario, we're going to need to see increasing bull volume. We're going to need to obviously see bulls get over weekly 12 EMA. And that is that. So that's the bull side of things. The bear side of things is, we know weekly lower highs are the most likely scenario on these bounces. They're going to be scouting weekly lower high positions. And just as an aggressive bull could be playing for a weekly bounce to play out on XLM USDT, there's ammo for an aggressive bear to be looking short on this and saying, okay, well, we just got this news. Everybody's ripping. BTC is up 7% on the day, and XLM can't break its daily EQ bullish. I'm going to enter short. I'm going to put my stop over the high. If Bitcoin sets a quick weekly lower high, then XLM bears are positioned well to continue their weekly pullback there. So as always, there's often opportunity for whatever you're looking for in the markets, and especially in the crypto space where you have very clear relative strength, relative weakness, getting passed back and forth between names. You can position in something favorable. And how I like to view the relative strength and weakness through the ratio charts is you pretty much have 4 categories. You have a confirmed bear, which means that you are relatively weak and you're actively relatively weak. And at the same time that something is a confirmed bear, it could be an anticipatory bull, which is the second category there, where you can say, okay, well, maybe this relative weakness is going to shift to relative strength. And then you just have the opposite for the other two of a confirmed bull that is seeing the move up, like Matic up 6.6%. That's a confirmed bull at this point. And that also is an anticipatory bear, because if we see Matic set a weekly lower high off of 12 EMA, it's the bull now and it's got its move up, but it could be a bear. So with those 4 categories, whatever you're looking for, whether you want to be aggressive, conservative, play with the trend, play counter trend, you can slot into one of those 4 and find yourself some opportunity. And, we don't need to be right. That's why we have stop losses. And at the end of the day, you've just got to form a thesis and throw your hat in the fire and see if you can get a move in your favor. So that, what else we got? ADA broke its daily tightening range. So this is what XLM USDT bulls want to see. You got your daily tightening range, and we were a little late to break it, but it then ended up getting the break. So with that, the more alts that start to pop their daily tightening ranges, the odds will increase that others will follow, because we know in general this space kind of ebbs and flows in unison with that. So Doge is another one, beautiful daily tightening range, bull break, but weekly lower high most likely scenario. So we'll have to see. Do we get rotation? Do backburners get bought up? Do we see healthy retracement size? Do we have decreasing bear volume on consolidation? These are all the questions we're going to be asking going forward. Is the dollar breaking its weekly stair step? Are we losing daily 12 EMA? Is ES, the S&P 500, keeping its daily uptrend intact? Is it bouncing over 50% of this retrace down to increase the odds of a monthly bull flag? And then keep your checks, bulls and bears. So that's that. Let's see what y'all are looking at. Let's get into the chat. All right. Hello, everybody. Andre K. Greetings from the Netherlands. Hello, sir. Thanks for tuning in. You'd be interested to know how I would trade a possible higher low on Mara. Thanks. All right. Let's go look at Mara. So gonna certainly be talking about stocks more at the end of the day. I've actually got a ChartGuys stream at 3:15, but you know, Mara, it's kind of like the proxy crypto. A lot of folks trade it to avoid the fees, and obviously the volatility you can see on a day like today is insane. So I would be, you know, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be a conservative? Most aggressive bull is looking for an hourly higher low. We've got tons of room to form it, and the best look would be 5-minute oversold to shape that up. So when I'm doing something like this, I'll go ahead and I'll drop a line on the hourly 12 EMA, go ahead and label that. And then I will go into the 5-minute. I'll turn on this RSI projector tool, and I'll drop a line on 5-minute oversold, label it up. And then I know that that's like my zone of interest when we pull back. And again, this is the most aggressive bulls here. And similar to what I was talking about at the beginning, I personally am not interested in just scaling into any pullback after like a big move from news. So I would like to get a level to play off, whether you get like a 5-minute stair step down into this zone. That could be one way to go about it. You enter on the stair step break. You take your partial profits to get risk-free and then go on from there. So that's my preferred way to do things these days. Another thing would be simply, you know, 5-minute downtrend gets going down, confirmation of a 5-minute uptrend. That's your hourly higher low, or the first sign of your hourly higher low shaping up. So then you could just enter on that break, put your stop below the low, look to de-risk a bit, and see where things go from there. So we do know that everything's still going to be very headline sensitive, because if we get something that comes out and says that the SEC is appealing the ruling, it's likely going to be a pretty solid bearish reaction. And these miners carry risk that you can't stop out overnight if something like that were to happen. So good to position comfortably and de-risk and try to lower your average as much as you can there. So let's see. Thank you, Twinkle Boy. Papa's Bags. That is a good name. I like that. All right. Surge TV. I think we go as high as 35 and then roll over, make a lower high, and then start a multi-month downtrend into next year. SPY is testing the top of a rising wedge today. DXY has formed Wyckoff accumulation. Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. We'll have to, and that would be the head and shoulders playing out on Bitcoin. And we know we're going to be looking for a quarterly lower high at some point here. Bulls certainly would like to see another leg up, because this chart is on log right now, but if you turn it on linear, it shows you how dinky the bounce is in the scheme of things. And that could be a quarterly bear flag. So got to be cautious of that. And in relation to the dollar, you know, we're talking just about the weekly right now in this daily uptrend, but there's no doubt that this was a long tightening range and it broke bear without follow through. And one of the things that lets us know that we're potentially seeing larger time frame momentum shifts is a break without follow through. So it's bigger picture on the dollar. That's certainly bullish. Like, we're just looking for weekly consolidation to see if we can get some weekly bounce follow through in Bitcoin, metals, equities. But bigger picture will then be asking, is the dollar able to confirm a weekly uptrend? We saw strong bounces along the way, but inability to confirm a weekly uptrend. If the dollar confirms a weekly uptrend, then we're talking about a quarterly higher low shaping up off of 12 EMA. So if that happens, it won't be surprising if Bitcoin sets a quarterly lower high and comes on down here. So that's why we'll really have to be watching volume along the way here. All right. Yeah, watching that same potential head and shoulders. One thing that I will say is that if we get up to that, well, let me get back to the weekly here. If we get up to the 30Ks, then bears will certainly need to bring the volume if they want to go to. All right, I think I'm back. Can y'all hear me? You know, my internet doesn't drop out for weeks on end, and it just dropped out here. So let me know if you guys can hear me. I believe I'm back in business. Okay, cool. Thank you, Serge. So what I was saying is going to be watching this trend line resistance if bulls do see another leg up here and look for potential reaction. And that's something where we could say if bears reject that, then we are, you know, that's what they want to see. Like at this point, obviously bears don't like the fundamental positive for Bitcoin there, but we can look for technical clues. And if that rejection happens, then we'll know that bears are defending 0.5 retrace. They're defending what was previously support, now having it act as resistance. And that would be a strong look there. So let's see what else we got. Take a closer look at Matic here. So I already talked about Matic a good bit. I don't know if there's a ton more to say. Watching out for a weekly lower high, and going to be watching how retracement size on have already over 50% retracement. So that's not really what bulls want to see. So, gosh dang it. All right, more internet issues. Sorry about that, guys. I do have an afternoon stream coming up, so I will look to wrap this up here as my internet is crapping on out. So, but in terms of Matic, you know, bulls don't like the depth of this pullback here. It's over 50% of the move up, and to give back 50% after that strong move is not a great look. But if bears want to really do something, they'll need this 4-hour consolidation to dip down further, or first they need 4-hour consolidation to start. We have not begun that yet at this point. So stronger alt right now. It's a confirmed bull in the alt space, but the confirmed bull is the same as an anticipatory bear. So we'll have to see who ends up winning out. And typically a confirmed bull will shift over to an anticipatory bear at some point. But the question is, you know, is it from here at 63, or do bulls see a move on up to 77? So that is that. Let's see what else we got in chat here. Thank you, Joka. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Dan's shoes are among the biggest to fill. So it's an honor that he trusts me to come on here and chat with y'all. I appreciate the support. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, Impatient Monk. I dream of having some Starlink, but I live in the woods, and from everything that I've read, the tree interference kind of jacks that up a little bit. So perhaps that will get better in the future, but yeah, it'd be nice not to lean on Spectrum. We do have a pretty solid storm that came through here. in Western North Carolina this morning, and I think that's knocking some things out. But that's all I've got for now. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hope you're protecting some gains, seeing some gains, and enjoying the big green day after just some boring action for a few weeks. It's nice to get some volatility. So take it easy, and I will catch you all later.